So let's focus right back with the last three games here. Obviously, guys are coming off big win against San Francisco.
hmm
Just the way you've seen this offense, yeah, obviously with Joe leading under center, what has changed in the last three games that have seemingly put Cincinnati now back on what we were seeing in the late part of last season when things were clicking there?
Joe Burrow's healthy. He is way further along than when he was. His calf was really bad in the beginning of the season, and he's fought through it. And as soon as Joe has found confidence again in that calf, everything else opens up because now we saw it just this week against the 49ers. They don't have to do everything out of the shotgun anymore. Now that they have confidence in Joe, he's going under center. That opens up the run game as well. Joe Mixon had his best game of the season. The Bengals rushing had the best game of the season against the 49ers, which has a phenomenal rush defense. So the fact that Joe is feeling healthy and has more confidence in his ability, Joe isn't a rushing quarterback. However, he is a guy who can get you a first down with his legs. And he is now doing that. He was not doing that to begin the season. Joe was not leaving the pocket. Now there was the incredible play on the first drive against the Niners where he was almost taken down like 6 times, fought through it, and throws to T. Higgins for a first down. So Burrow is back to where he was last year, and he's feeling more healthy. It really all comes down to the health of Burrow, this offense.
Knowing that he's, himself feeling as healthy as is, I'm thinking of the game. I was watching the game yesterday, and I'm thinking, I don't know if it was a third down and long or a second and long. There's a play, he gets up, he checks it at the line, and then it's basically just a design run. Burrow picks up a first down on a 11, 12-yard run himself, kind of going along with what you said. Knowing that you have, just as you've mentioned, that in your back pocket, and you add that with all the weapons that Cincinnati's offense still has, how versatile, overall does this make the offense, and how scary is this for defenses, like Buffalo's, who have been playing a little bit inconsistently?
When the Bengals offense is at where it should be with health, it is the best offense in football. There is no, like, teams tried last year to do the too high or Tampa 2, they were calling it. They figured that out in 2 weeks. This Bengals offense, there isn't a hole. People will say maybe it's the run game, the weakness at tight end. They don't need a tight end when they don't need one. They have, if you looked at the first couple of drives against the San Francisco game, they were double tripling Jamar, attacking T. Okay, we'll throw it to Tyler Boyd all day. And Boyd runs right down the field and gets them a touchdown. And then when you try to take it away and you give them the run, they'll say, okay, we'll take the run. And Joe Mixon still got 87 yards and a touchdown on top of Burrow's 40-plus rushing yards. So it is so difficult to defend. And that is why the last 2 years the Bengals have been able to go on these playoff runs, because you can't focus on one guy. T. Higgins on 85, 90% of other NFL teams is the top wide receiver on that team. He's fighting back from injury, and he's starting to get healthier from a rib injury. So the long and short, I'm pretty sure I gave you guys the same exact answer last year. They're the best offense in football, and a team hasn't figured out how to stop them when they are at their best.
Now, listen, watching the last three games, there's going to be people here in the Buffalo market that watch this not going to like that answer, Marshall. But
Sure.
the proof is in the pudding. One more thing on offense I want to ask you: has there been a surprise? A surprise contributor at all that has emerged, especially over the last couple of weeks? You guys start to get wins back in the win column here. Has there been any sort of underlying factor, any underlying player that's kind of helped along in that process?
Yeah, rookie Andre Yoshibas, a wide receiver. Listen, the offensive line, they've added a lot, but as far as someone like, he gained a lot of buzz in training camp. He's mainly a special teams guy, but now 2 weeks in a row, he's caught a touchdown. He was his first NFL touchdown against Seattle, and then after the bye, San Francisco, he caught the second touchdown against the 49ers. Joe Burrow's not afraid to throw it to anyone, and Yoshibas is a sixth-round draft pick out of Princeton, an Ivy League school, and he has now 2 touchdowns in 2 games, so he's willing to throw it anywhere. They really seem to like Yoshibas in those goal line packages because he's big, athletic, strong. People think next year he's going to probably be one, depending on contracts and stuff, maybe one of the starters next year. Yoshibas has really, really been impressive, and they like to go to him. And then, of course, the offensive line, the addition of Orlando Brown Jr. from Kansas City, that isn't a shock that he's whatever, but this offensive line is different. Their big flaw last year, the O-line. The O-line struggled a little bit at the beginning, but a lot of that had to do with Burrow having to hold on to the ball for so long. Now with Orlando Brown Jr. there, And this team, they're clicking between Kappa and Ted Karras and just the whole line. They're they're pretty good.
Well, and flipping to the other side of the ball, good offenses oftentimes get sparked by good defense. It's another year, and we talked about this last time I chatted with you, just about Lou Anarumo and what he's able to do with that defense. Just how impressed have you guys been over the last couple of weeks, and really even the season, with some of the injuries, and then also just the way that this defense has found ways to really minimalize a lot of effective weapons on some of these offenses you've gone up against?
I was shocked that Lou Anarumo came back this year as the defensive coordinator, meaning that he did not have a head coaching job elsewhere.
Yeah.
Lou Anarumo is one of the best defensive minds in football. He was up for the Arizona Cardinals job, but right now, I mean, trends around the NFL, it's no secret, they hire offensive coordinators to be head coaches. I think what's the one exception would be Houston hired D'Amico Ryan. Like there's very, very few defensive guys getting the head coaching job. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I'd be floored if Lou Anarumo is not a head football coach somewhere next year. With that said, they're kind of doing the same thing as last year. They lost key pieces. They lost two safeties, Von Bell and Jesse Bates, who at one point in the season, I'm not sure if the stats is the same today, but were the leaders in interceptions, both on their new teams, Carolina and Atlanta, respectively. So he lost some major pieces and figures out a way. The one thing that the Bengals defense made sure to do was to make sure they got contracts and extensions for both linebackers, Jermaine Pratt and Logan Wilson. The linebackers both had interceptions against the 49ers. They're a tandem that Zach Taylor, the head coach, he just said we would not trade them for anybody in the NFL. When Lou Anarumo has his guys, he's a big his guys thing. Like there's some special teamers and practice squads that have played with him in Miami or with the Giants. That's what he likes. He doesn't care if you're the best player on the team. It's someone who could buy into Lou Anarumo's scheme, and it seems to work.
And my last one for you, Marshall, you put yourselves in the shoes of, this for this week's sake, the Bills, or really any team that's got to go up against the Cincinnati Bengals. What's the one thing that you still feel like Cincinnati, whether it be offense, defense, mix of both, still isn't clicking on full cylinders on, that could present, an opportunity for an opposing team, example, the Bills, come in and take advantage of that come Sunday night?
Tight end position is a big problem right now. So I guess those third and shorts, that's where it can get confusing. But it's tough, right? Because like, what does the defense do? They stop and stop the run game, right? Okay, you're going to leave Jamar Chase in a one-on-one for a screen pass. Okay, we're going to go out. Maybe I don't think there's that third down confidence yet in the third and shorts in the run game. And last year, a lot of that would go to tight end Hayden Hurst, who now plays for the Carolina Panthers. Irv Smith Jr. is the tight end this year. He has not lived up to what they have hoped he will be. So third and shorts is the one area, because Joe Burrow, who is normally a great quarterback sneaker, they're not doing that right now. There's going to be no tush push in Cincinnati. This team on third and short, that is what you would probably hope for. I would almost rather the Bengals, if I'm the Bills defensive coordinator, obviously you never want to give up yards, but I would rather face the Bengals defense in third and short than I would third and long.
I'm going to be selfish here, just because you got to talk to your guys today. Just because of the way things happened in the AFC divisional game, and then obviously with the way things happened during the regular season last year, is there any sort of guys flashing back to that at all, or is it pretty standard? We're here in 2023. The focus is on this season, and the Bills coming in with a new identity, new faces coming up into our house Sunday night.
In perspective of you meaning like from the games last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they will not. They don't look at the Bills like that. They're not, the big team that they don't like to talk about is the Chiefs. The Bills, I guess, a part of it being what happened with DeMar Hamlin last year and the unity between these two teams and the relationship between Tyler Boyd and DeMar. Maybe that's something to do with it, but there's really not like hate towards the Bills. Like there's no like, remember those guys, and partially is because they beat them in the playoffs.
Yep.
And they have an underdog, but the Bengals do have an overall massive underdog mentality right now. They are mad at the world and trying to show you really forgot about us again. And that has nothing to do with the Bills. That has to do with the outside perspective of a team that went to 2 straight AFC championship games in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And people are counting them out because they lost 3 games in the beginning of the season. So that's where their motivation is coming from. Nothing really specifically from the Bills.